we just witnessed the best two college football playoff semifinal games of all time. I mean, just two back-to-back thrillers. So in this video, we're going to talk about the Rose Bowl and the Sugar Bowl, and then talk about our two national title teams, Michigan and Washington. So without further ado, if you like the content, please hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. We have college football, Nebraska content coming out all offseason, so please would help me out. We're on the road to 1K, but without further ado, let's talk about the Rose Bowl. So a lot of expectations going into this game. Pasadena, California, about a pick'em line. Most of the bettors were going toward the Crimson Tide, and it lived up to the hype, guys. Michigan had early control in the game, but with the way that Alabama's offense was playing, sooner or later they were going to break through. Let's give credit to Jalen Milroe real quick. After getting benched early on in the season, he played phenomenal today. I know a lot of people were kind of hating on him, but yeah, he had a good game given the circumstances, and really led a charge back in that ball game. Really quick, though, can we give props to Michigan for that last drive in the fourth quarter? Was just phenomenal. J.J. McCarthy locked in. They were down 7 points. You need to go all the way down the field to tie up that game. There were a couple plays where J.J. McCarthy actually made some bad throws. For example, that one play where he absolutely overthrew Roman Wilson, and he went up and high-pointed that football to basically save the season with a lurking DB right over there. I think Kool-Aid McKinstry was lurking, and he would have got that pick six, and the game would have been over. So, I mean, just ice water in their veins to go all the way down the field and get that touchdown. And really what happened was Michigan started going back to what worked. And this is what I hate from Michigan in their previous playoff runs, when they get to the playoff and they get there through hard-nosed running the football, through Blake Corum, Donovan Edwards. And then they get to the playoff and then run all this, 40 passes, 50 passes. I mean, we'll check how many times J.J. McCarthy dropped back. And that's exactly what they were doing in the first half and early second half, was he was just dropping back every single snap. Then they inevitably went back to the running game, and that's why they won this football game. You have one of the best running backs in the country. Utilize him. It looks like J.J. McCarthy had 27 passes. So, again, that a little bit too much. I mean, compare that to what he normally has, and given how good the running game is, you should have been running this ball down Alabama's throat today. They would have won this game by more. But obviously, the fourth quarter was what it was. We went to overtime. Alabama wins the coin flip. Michigan gets the ball, and just beautiful scripted drive there to get in the end zone. Again, looked really, really easy. It was all Alabama. And man, this Michigan defense, which has held strong all year long, finally came up big for the Wolverines. That was a terrible play call. Can we talk about that last play call of the game? There was an injury to Jermaine Burton right before that play call. Then both teams proceeded to have a timeout. You had about 6 minutes, if you're Nick Saban, to think of a play call. And the best thing you had on a fourth down, where you're sitting there at the 3-yard line, the best thing you came up with was a quarterback draw right down the middle. And that's Michigan's best part of their defense, is their front four, especially their interior. Probably the worst play call I've ever seen from Nick Saban in his offense. That was ridiculously bad. But credit to Bama, man. They played really good today. Really, really good football. But, man, Michigan really... I think Michigan's a more talented team as of right now. I think they're more vetted team. Alabama, and Nick Saban said this after the game, Alabama had a lot of growing pains this year. So, they'll be back, though. Jalen Milroe's coming back. I have no doubt about it. But Michigan, they have not won a bowl game, folks, since 2015. That's Nebraska's streak. Nebraska hasn't won a bowl game since 2015. That streak breaks tonight, and they win the Rose Bowl. Just insane game, and they're going to go play Washington, and we'll get into that game right now. So, yeah, Washington beats Texas in a thriller. This was probably better than the Rose Bowl, folks. I was talking to my dad after the Rose Bowl, and I said, there's no way the Sugar Bowl is better. It just kind of seems like a backup game. And somehow, some way, it turned out to be a better ball game. Washington, for all intents and purposes, was in control of this game every single minute, it felt like, right? With about 2 minutes left to go, they're up 2 touchdowns. They're up 13 points. And Texas goes down, gets that touchdown. Washington has great field position when they get the ball back with a minute left to go. Timeout Texas. Then you're sitting there with 40 seconds or about 50 seconds left to go. If you just needed that football down, Texas is only going to get the ball back with about 5 seconds left, and there's 1 snap with no timeouts. Instead of kneeling, They decide to run the football down the middle with their star running back, getting him hurt in the process. Because of the fact that they got him hurt, the clock stopped and Texas got a chance. And then what proceeded was inexplicable. They gave up a penalty on a punt return. Texas went all the way down the field, and it came down to the last snap at the 10-yard line. Texas faded up to the end zone and incomplete. Wow. I mean, Washington avoided probably the biggest choke job we've ever seen in a college football playoff. They were just handing that to Texas, man. And I love Kalen DeBoer, the Huskies head coach. Love him, man. But that was horrific. Just horrific clock management, just horrific special teams, horrific defense in that final 40 seconds. But they're lucky they came away with it. And honestly, they were the better team tonight. Reason they won. First off, Michael Penix Jr. I was a proponent that Michael Penix should have won the Heisman Trophy. All love to Jane Daniels. This dude is a stud as well. Michael Penix showed you why he should have won today. This was the best quarterback performance we've seen in a playoff game since Joe Burrow. I mean, every ball it felt like was on target, and we're talking hard throws, 40, 50 yards down the field. He had a fade over to Rome Duze with 3 minutes left in the game that was on the money, just a ballsy throw. I mean, this guy's a stud. And it's crazy how far he's came from being at Indiana, right? And he was not that great of a quarterback. He was more of a running quarterback. This dude is throwing the ball with as much zip than anybody we've seen in a very long time. Honestly, should have won the Heisman Trophy. Other than that, again, this receiver core came up huge for Washington. I've been saying all year it's the best receiver core in all of college football. You have, of course, Rome Duze. He probably should have won the Biletnikoff. You have Polk, who was awesome today. You have McMillan, who was out with injury this year. This is a dangerous offense, guys. This is probably the most electrifying offense in college football. Dylan Johnson, your best running back. However, we're going to watch that injury. I bet he does not play in the national title game. So just incredible, man. Just incredible. Credit to Texas, man. Credit to Sarkisian. He's doing a good job over there. He inherited, not a great situation, not a great culture, and he's definitely turning them around. Again, they're another team that's going to be pretty good next year. They're very young. Quinn Ewers, probably going to come back. I think Texas fans would be fine even if, Arch Manning were to start next year. This is a team that could be very, very solid next year. It should be noted, though, they're playing an SEC schedule, so we'll see if that has any impact on it. But, man, just incredible 2 games. Let me know what you guys think about them below. Real quick, Washington versus Michigan is your national title. I just want to mention real quick, 2 Big Ten teams. I know a lot of SEC fans are not happy about that. 2 Big Ten teams are going to be represented in the national title game. I don't really care who wins. Personally, I'm rooting for Washington. I think that would be the best storyline. Kalen DeBoer deserves it as a head coach. But honestly, really, I don't feel too strongly about either option. But yeah, I will be rooting for the Huskies. As for who do I think wins, I do think it'll be the Huskies. I mean, they've been doubted time and time again. They were doubted against Oregon. They were doubted tonight against Texas, right? They've been underdogs a lot this year for an undefeated team. And every single time they rose up to expectations. They're going to do it one last time. And I think Michigan will be about a 5-point favorite when the spread originally drops. And I think Washington will get it done and win the first national title since 1991. It's going to be a great game. That's all I know. And you know what else I know is that we're going to get a new national title winner. We haven't had either of these teams win a title in the 21st century, so that's a win in my book. I'm all for having new title winners, having more parity in the sport because that's what's good for it. So just incredible, everybody. Let me know what you think down below. Man, it's wild. Wild games. This is what the college football playoff 14 was designed for. The 4 best teams, like we just saw, playing the 2 best games, and we saw it today. No more blowouts. It sucks, absolutely sucks that for the majority of the 14 playoffs existent, we saw blowout after blowout, and then the last year of its existence, we saw 2 really good games that make you think, yeah, this should have probably stayed around, in my opinion, at least. But whatever, man. But yeah, national title on Monday. We'll have a recap of that as well. But please hit the subscribe button on this channel if you don't want to miss out on any more college football content. We have a lot coming this offseason. But also hit that like button. Let me know what you think down below. And as always, folks, I keep it real with my Nebraska fans. Go Nebraska. Go Big Red. Go Bet Real. See you next one, everybody.